streaming, and let's wait for the picture to come up and all of the channels to come up. And we are live on one Facebook page, two Facebook pages. We are waiting for YouTube is up. Oh, good. We're good. And it didn't freeze. Okay, Jordan, whenever you're ready, let's count down from 10 to 0, and then I'll play the music. So, Jordan, whenever you're ready.
We got about 30 seconds.
Okay. I'm going to wait. Okay. You tell me when.
Oh, about 20 more.
20. Okay. Let's start counting, everybody. It's going to be a slow New Year's Eve this year. Here we go. You ready, Jordan?
Ready?
10, 9, 8. And we need all the voices. Otherwise, what? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank goodness. Here we go. Come on, everybody, dance with me. That's it.
Welcome to Read My Lips Radio, a lively hour of unscripted conversations with savvy creatives. Producer and host, akaRadioRed, asks novelists, artists, photographers, designers, comedians, actors, musicians, composers, screenwriters, directors, and technology innovators about their creative passion, inspirational muses, and how they create. Ooh, how those lips can talk. Now, here's akaRadioRed.
Radio Red is in the house. Thank you to the wonderful voice who introduces me. It's Monday. Where else would I be? Red is in the house, and this is Cool Conversations with Creatives. I used to call it Read My Lips, and people didn't really get that. There's some rock and roll songs about that, so we're just having a cool conversation. It is my privilege and my pleasure on Monday to gather usually three very interesting people, most of whom I have never met, or I met them for 2 minutes, right, Eileen, at the National Publicity Summit, and they just sounded so creative, whether they're doctors or lawyers or artists or authors or whatever their background is. They've created something that's special. We're all creative and it's all unique. So I want to welcome all of you. And I didn't tell you that we have a little exercise to do. So before I introduce you formally, Dwayne, Tom, and Eileen make the shape of the letter L with whatever hand is your favorite hand. And on the count of 3, you're going to join me in saying, hello, LLL. Just at that speed. Let's see if you could do it. 1, 2, 3. Hello. L. Okay, Jordan, you can put them in as tied for second place for keeping it together really, really tight. I'm impressed with all of you. LLL is lovely, lanky Laura Legg. She's a friend I met at dance class years ago. I used to teach, but I met her at a class I was taking, and she is our most loyal listener. And Dwayne and Tom and Eileen, at approximately 6:03 tonight Eastern Time, I will get a little book report from Legs, and she will tell me, oh, beautiful, gorgeous lady of red, I just loved your show, Dwayne. And she'll write a little report on what you said, Dwayne. I'm serious.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, this is real. And Tom and Eileen, I'll get a whole report on you, and she'll say, love the show. She's going to love you, no question about it. But the question is, what will she record about you? So I just wanted to warn all of you. And she's been a friend for years, and I'm just delighted to have her. Today is May 19th. It's the 139th day of the 2025 Gregorian calendar. And I don't know if you know, Dwayne, I bet you do, that we used to have the Julian calendar, and they had a problem with what we now know as leap years, and they missed about 12 days in the month of October. So if you had a birthday in October, Tom, and I don't know when your birthdays are, I'm in the beginning of October, you wouldn't celebrate most of the time because those days were just skipped. Along came Gregorian, and he said, I have an interesting idea. Let's make leap year every 4th year. Let's align it with the moon, and let's put in 1 extra day. And then we had the Gregorian calendar. I just wanted you all to know I do my homework. 226 days left. It's not time to get ready for New Year's Eve. It's the 20th Monday, and nobody cares that about except me. So now I'm going to do my opening, and when I call your name, and I hope I can pronounce yours, Eileen. I think I can. I want you to just wave so everybody is double sure they know who you are. So, welcome to Cool Conversations, our radiant show where sparks of brilliance and muses glow. akaRadioRed on her Scarlett Mic's beam, could you all see it beaming, leads the way in our live stream dream. Today's theme brings promise bold and pretty as we celebrate the mysteries of creativity. Almost rhymed there. With passion, purpose, 3 creatives take flight. Dwayne Brenna, Eileen Caroscio, and Tom Hagerty share their light. Here we go. Dwayne Brenna. from Saskatchewan. Say it for me, Tom. Say it, Dwayne.
Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. From Saskatchewan's plains with a quill and a grin, he's brewed laudanum plots and let baseball games win. With a Queen's shiny medal and CBC clout, Eddie Gustafson made listeners laugh and shout. Dwayne has acted with stars, worn costumes absurd, penned poems, short stories in every odd word. An actor, a scholar, a master of prose. Dr. Dwayne Brenna, his brilliance grows and grows. What'd you think?
Oh, I thought that was very nice.
You're
Very
okay.
kind.
You're very welcome. Now let's go to Eileen. Eileen's a nurse, a coach, and a midlife muse, helping people reframe the paths they choose. From bedside care to life's big quest, she guides with heart so people live their best. With foxes in focus and nature her scene, she captures midlife both fierce and serene. Through loss, she found purpose. Through change, a plan. Her best-selling book lights the way to resilient joy in life's second half play. Eileen?
Oh, I love that. Ooh la la.
I'm glad. I'm glad. And Tom Hagerty, this is an interesting one. From cigars and scotch to dumbbells and dreams, Tom traded old habits for purpose and themes. With Jesuit smarts and a skeptic's delight, he questions the hype and he gets it right. A fixer in boardrooms, a prankster at play. Tom writes, lifts, and golfs through each daring day. In his book, The Business of Relationships, wisdom rings true. Tom's got a wink, rock vibe, and a bold point of view. Tom, what'd you think?
Man, I want that in writing.
You'll get the replay. You won't get the writing. So gather round where the cool vibes sway as we dive deep into creativity today. akaRadioRed's Roundtable lights the way. We hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. So do we get a thumbs up on the opening? What'd you think? Dwayne first. What'd you think? Yes? Tom liked it?
I thought it was great.
Okay. I have a partner in crime named Sylvie, and I'll tell you after the show who she is. And I give her all of your bios, everything you sent me. And Dwayne, you gave me a lot of extra, which was great. And I feed them to her, and she takes about 4 seconds to write a draft of an 8-line rhyming overview. Then I go back to it, and I compare it to the bio you sent me. And I sometimes say, didn't get it right. Didn't capture enough. We missed this. We missed that. I think I went back 4 times with yours, Dwayne, 3 times Tom. Eileen's, we got yours right on the second try. And then I polished them up, not polish them off. And that's what I read for you. So those are my gifts to you. Tom, people have asked for the text of the poems, and I won't send you the text because it's my reading that makes it so special. So
I'll just read it over and over and over again and write it down,
What I'm going to do is I'll send you a clip of the opening of the show. How's that? Would you like that? And then you can play it and listen to it. So let's go around the table. Dwayne is first. Dwayne, I'm sure I missed at least 1,000 points of light from your life. So I'm going to put you on speaker view. Would you please do me the honor of filling in some of the blanks in what I couldn't put in 8 lines? Go ahead, Dwayne.
Well, I mean, you did an admirable job. I was born on a farm on my grandfather's homestead. My grandfather was a homesteader who came up to Saskatchewan from North Dakota, and in 1905, and I was lucky enough to get to work with him. He lived until he was the ripe old age of 87. Lucky enough to get to work with him. I showed a little aptitude for writing when I was in high school. I had an aptitude for little else. And my high school teacher kind of pointed me in that direction, and I got involved. Spent the latter half of my life, though, I made the mistake of taking a drama class in university, and I spent most of my life as a actor and drama professor at the University of Saskatchewan here. So that's the part that you maybe missed out from the biography.
Tell me a little bit about your acting experience. I know you've been in films with some big stars. And what was that like, Dwayne?
Yeah, it was quite wonderful. I remember acting in a film with Kelly McGillis one time. Brenda Fricker was also in the film. It was called Painted Angels. It's since had about 3 different titles. I don't think it made a huge box office hit. But I remember coming home from that. I had three sons, young sons, and my wife, and I'd been treated so well. You get treated so well on a movie set that I came home and I said, I wondered to myself, why these people that I lived with weren't treating me very well. It's simply that they weren't treating me like I was on a movie set.
You are a
It doesn't
star.
matter if you're the star or just have a few lines. You get treated pretty well at movie sets. So that's what a movie set was like. I spent a year in Stratford here in Canada, doing a lot of Shakespeare, and then got a job teaching in the drama department here at the University of Saskatchewan.
Exciting journey. Would you rather be an actor or would you rather write and perhaps have somebody else act out what you've written?
I always wanted to write, right from grade 9 up. The acting, it was enjoyable, and the teaching of it was enjoyable. But I have to say, even in the theater business or the movie business, the writers are the people with real power. They're the ones who put the word on the page, and
there you go.
Yeah, I found that very exciting.
Thank you. So happy to have you here. Let's go around the table. Eileen, welcome. I met you at the Publicity Summit a couple months ago. I'm doing another summit in 3 weeks from now. And I said, you got to come on the show. And here you are. So what did I miss in the overview? Eileen, fill us in, please. Welcome.
Thank you. You provided a lot. I guess I'd like to just say, yep, I'm a nurse, and some unfortunate events changed the trajectory of my life. And one was my dad dying when I was a teenager, and so I decided to be a nurse to help. He died of a massive cardiac arrest. And so I decided to go into nursing and to help educate people about health care and be healthy and living longer lives. And I had a time I just loved working there in the hospital. I taught CPR, I helped educate people, I worked medical, surgical, cardiac. And then one day when I was out in my garden, I fell. And we know that gardens are not really dangerous places, but I broke my wrist. I knew it broke. It just was like hanging like that. And I couldn't work for months. It was my right hand. And so I thought, what am I going to do? I probably tripped on a rock or on my feet or something. But anyway, I didn't know what to do. And I decided to explore coaching. And then I could work with people in midlife and beyond. And that's my focus. I love working with them. So I added that coaching to my nursing. Although I don't work in the hospital now, I use that as a consultant. I help people with health-related goals. And then 9/11 happened, and people were very interested in, what's important in their life. And so that added to the coaching of like, what do people want to do in the second half of life? So they have a very fun and fulfilling life. So those things that were unfortunate helped me in some ways have a very, I guess, creative path and a meaningful life for me. So I guess I just wanted to share that. I'm also wanted to share that I'm happy to report that after 4 years, my colleagues and I, we published a book. It's doing great. It's called Midlife, New Life, Living Consciously in Midlife and Beyond. It was a creative project. It's nonfiction, so there's a lot of research. We interviewed people in that. It's doing well. So I'm happy with that, and I'm here to share whatever you're interested in.
Thank you. Thank you. Very important. We all went through COVID. Obviously, we're all here. And it was a life-changing, I'm going to say event, but it was a lot of time went into that event and gave people an opportunity to refocus and rethink or think, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? What do I want to do differently if I live through this? So that was very, very interesting. Just briefly tell us, who were the colleagues with whom you co-wrote the book?
Thank you. Paul Ward and Sandy Demarest.
Are they nurses, doctors? What's their position?
Sandy is a coach, and she's a career coach, and Paul Ward is a leadership coach. And we get along very well, and we put our heads together, and just was a great experience. But each of them and myself have a lot of experience with coaching and just life
Mhm.
in general. So thank you for
Well,
that. I always want to say, who they are.
I know because I saw the cover of the book. But working with other people on a book, collaborating is a creative process because not everybody can do it. Not everybody can be respectful and say, yeah, we all had a good time. It's like, well, you should have seen what he was doing behind, whatever, never mind. Anyway, thank you, Eileen. Tom Hagerty, so happy to meet you. And I'm delighted to have you here. And what did I miss in the 8 lines in which I condensed your entire life? Tom, welcome. Tell us, fill us in, please.
I don't think you necessarily missed anything, but I would say a little background on me is that I'm the oldest of 10 children. 9 of us are still alive. We all lost our brother to cancer in 1990 when he was 34.
Mhm.
I'm the father of 3 kids, and very proud of that. They're all grown, they're all launched. Nobody's living in a basement, especially mine. And I'm a grandfather of 4, and there's just a lot of gratitude and a lot of enjoyment in all of that, and most recently, I would say my source of gratitude and pride is my older son. He is number 2 in line. Sister Amanda is the oldest. The picture in the front of the book that has the 3 of them there. And I said that, you guys gave me the trip of a lifetime. And in many ways, they did. My son Greg, who is 34 and living in Florida, just completed the Keys 100, which is a 100-mile race from Key Largo to Key West. He did it in under 24 hours, and he's just one of these guys that no ball he ever met, no sport he ever played didn't like him. And he picked up running just a couple of years ago for fitness, and he goes out and does the 100-mile race. So yeah, a
Proud
lot of
Papa.
sources of pride there, and I think that was part of the intro that I gave you. And it's not that you missed it; it's just part of my story that I would put in there. But your job was brilliant.
You're very kind. Oh, stop, Tom. Oh, stop. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's hard to take a lifetime, and some people send me very detailed origin stories. I don't call them bios anymore. I call them origin story. Where'd you start? What was life like? Who influenced you? What was your education? What put you on the path to where you are now? And you all sent really rich information to me. So thank you. And Tom, yours was especially detailed, and I appreciate it. I was careful what went in and how we worded it. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'll take brilliant anytime. So thank you all for filling in the gap. Some people call that the dash. Well, I've included a lot, not the whole dash, just pieces of the dash. So now we're going to go to the quotes you sent me. Fictional quotes from movie or TV characters or a song lyric. I did a little homework on them. I love doing my research, my quote research. I'm going to read a little bit about the quote, and I'll ask you to each tell me what it has to do with your creativity. So, Dwayne Brenna, you have a quote from Back on Top song lyrics on Philosopher's Stone, which is a 1998 compilation album by Irish singer-songwriter Van Morrison. And he's on vocals, acoustics, and electric guitar, as well as harmonica and saxophone. The songs on this 2 CD, 30-track album were previously unreleased outtakes from 1969 to 1988. That's a long time. The album has 25 songs that were never released. And Scott Thomas in the fan magazine Wavelength noted everything about the Philosopher's Stone, from its format to its packaging to its song selection, seems designed to divorce the tracks from their historical milieu. When we open the package, no essays, no interviews, no archival photos, just lyrics and credits, which include the year of the session. Very interesting. So here's the line Dwayne has selected. I'm on the road again, and I'm searching for the Philosopher's Stone. I hope I did a good job on the research. Dwayne, go ahead, tell
Yes,
us. What does this have to do
yes,
with
thank you.
you? You're welcome.
Well,
Go.
not only is it a great song, but the first time I heard it was in a movie. It was in the soundtrack for the movie The Wonder Boys, which is a movie about a creative writing professor in an Eastern university and his one of his very talented students. based on a great novel, by the way. So I fell in love with it there. It's a metaphor. The song is about turning lead into gold. It's usually seen as the lead of painful experience being turned into the gold of wisdom. And that's kind of the way I approach my writing. I want to turn the lead of my experience, some of it painful, not all of it, into something hopefully that's pretty, that's beautiful. So there's that about the thing. I mean, it also had to do with my life as a drama professor back in the day. I used to live on an acreage outside of the city that I'm sitting in now. And so I would have to drive often through snow-covered roads to the university to teach acting or to direct a play or whatever. And what I tried to instill in my students was this notion that we were going to turn the lead of their own experience into the gold of a performance on stage, a performance that could be worth watching. So those were the things that come to mind initially about that song.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. They say actors reach deep into the pain or the trauma from their own lives to find the core to relate to that character, to bring the character to life through their life. Do you agree with that, Dwayne?
Yeah, the best actors do that, and it's not always painful experience. Hopefully not. But I used to tell my actors that if it was too painful or too new, not to access that part of their life, but to go with something that was a little older experience, so that it didn't cause them a lot of psychic pain to do so.
Because we read stories of famous actors and actresses who say it was hard to get out of character because the character took them so deep somewhere that into places. Well, that's a whole other show, but thank you very much for those comments. Eileen, let me go to your quote, and you've picked a quote from, oh my goodness, The Fox, and you're going to tell us a little bit about that, voiced by James Franco in the English version and Vincent Cassel in the French version of Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince. And the book, of course, by Saint-Exupéry. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was a novella in 1943, and this is from the 2015 animated fantasy adventure comedy drama film. And I want to tell you, Eileen, that when I look up the film origins and the genre, comedy drama are the only two words that are hyphenated. Everything else is just strung out. So it's animated, fantasy, adventure, comedy drama, film. I just want you to know because I do a lot of these. Little Prince, directed by blah, 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 blah. It's the first adaptation of Little Prince as a full-length animated feature. The Fox is a wise, enigmatic character who teaches Le Petit Prince, I have to say it in French, about the importance of forming meaningful connections and understanding what truly matters in life. Voices, unbelievable. Jeff Bridges, Rachel McAdams, Paul Rudd, Marion Cotillard, Benicio del Toro, James Franco, Richie Gervais, Paul Giamatti, Albert Brooks, my goodness. And the story of the book is shown using stop motion animation woven into an animated framing narrative about a young girl who just met the now elderly aviator narrator, telling her the story of how he met the little prince in the Sahara Desert. Very, very interesting. It was the most successful French animated film abroad of all time. It had a budget of 75 million euros, and it made $97 million. Interesting. So here's the quote. And now, here is my secret, a very simple secret. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. What a beautiful quote. Eileen, what is this? I think everybody is saying, yeah, that's pretty cool. What is this? How'd you find this, first of all? And what does this mean to your creativity? Eileen?
Well, I love the quote, and it talks about the quote means to me is like what's important is within us, what we love, our passions, who we are. And as a coach and a nurse, I was always about finding that in individuals. And it's not about like what we're wearing or what we look like, but that part is important. And the quote is said by a fox, and I love foxes, and we have foxes out in the woods near us. And they come close to our house, and they're very beautiful and they're very wise. And they're my muses. I learn from the foxes. I learned to laugh and enjoy and just, have a great day. They sit out in the lawn and they're like lions out there, just very beautiful. And they're clever and they pounce on opportunity. There's a lot we can learn from foxes. I mean, it may be a mole, but they pounce on it. They're intuitive. They trust their instincts, and that's something that maybe we need to think about when we make decisions, not only all the logical stuff, but like, what does our intuition tell us? So it has to do with my creativity because they make me happy. I name the foxes. I know who I know who
All right, we want to know some of the names. Like Tom is saying, wonder what she names them, and Dwayne is saying, really, I'm going to write a story about this. Eileen, give us some of the names of your foxes, please.
So there's Marmalade, and there's Butterscotch, and there's Finnegan, and there's Cinnamon, and Autumn. Lately, there's just 3 of them and 2 babies. So I don't know the babies' names yet, because I can't tell them apart. But yes, I do know, and you can tell them by size, by markings, by their behavior. Some are very friendly, or they're not afraid of me. They know me. I mean,
Where are you based? Where is your location? City, state?
I'm in Northern Virginia, and I'm not
Okay.
too far from George Mason University.
Okay.
But we're lucky enough to have like forest around like the back of our house, and we see them. And I don't know if you know this, but foxes laugh. If you Google it, you can hear foxes, but they actually laugh. We have a security camera, and I was thinking, what is that laughing? Foxes. They also, just one last fact is they wag their tails like dogs when they're happy. That's something like I put a few eggs. They love eggs. And so I put 3 eggs out there and the foxes were wagging their tails.
Is that hard-boiled eggs or scrambled eggs or whole eggs?
A raw egg.
Raw egg. Okay. All right. Well, with the price of eggs now, you got to be careful with that.
I know.
Thank you. I've seen 2 little foxes. I'm in Eastern Tennessee, and I saw 2 little foxes on the walkway that I share behind my house with 2 other houses. And I saw 2 little ones one day, but we get once in a while, we see deer prancing through our yards, and they're gorgeous. And I quickly run with my phone camera. It's like, click, click, click. I got to take a picture of a deer. But I do have a picture of 2 little foxes sitting on the walkway behind, and that was about a year ago. So maybe we'll get some more. And they are around here. People do report fox families in their yards, in their gardens. So yes, as well as everything else. Thank you very much. That was lovely. Let's go to Tom. Tom has sent a quote from Verbal Kint, Kint, played by Kevin Spacey. I won't say any comments. The movie was The Usual Suspects, 1995 crime thriller film. Let's see, written by Christopher McQuarrie, starring Stephen Baldwin. He's the other Baldwin, Gabrielle Byrne, Benicio del Toro. Here he is again. Kevin Pollak, Chaz Palminteri, Pete Postlewaite, and Kevin Spacey. The title of the movie is from a column in Spy magazine, one of Claude Rains' most memorable lines in Casablanca. The Writers Guild of America ranked the film as having the 35th greatest screenplay of all time, and McQuarrie won an Oscar for it. I'm assuming you know all of this, Tom. The story is the interrogation of Roger Verbal Kint, Kint, a small-time con man, one of only 2 survivors of a massacre and fire on a ship docked at the port of L.A. Through flashbacks and narration, he tells a convoluted story of events that led him and his criminal companions to the boat and a mysterious crime lord, Keyser Soze, who controlled them. And here is the line Thomas selected. And then he showed these men of will what will really was. I hope I read that well. Tom, how'd you find this line, and what does it have to do with your creativity? Go.
Well, it's first of all, it's one of my favorite movies. It's probably right up there with Blazing Saddles as a movie that I would watch once a year, and I've been fairly faithful to that. It's a movie that has an ending that I never see coming as many times as I've seen it. There's no tip-offs to it. And Kevin Spacey was masterful in his portrayal of Verbal Kint. But this was really a story that went back to Russia and a crime situation in Russia where this Kaiser Soze is the way they pronounce it, but
Mhm.
Kaiser Soze was accosted. His family was accosted by a group of people, and instead of allowing them to be abused, he killed them. He
Mm.
killed his own family in front of these people, and then killed several of them, allowing one to escape, so that that one would go back to the crime family and say, basically, this guy is the real deal. And that's when Verbal Kint said that Kaiser Soze showed these men of will, these people that were in his home, he showed these men of will what will really was. And the way that speaks to me with my career was that sometimes it's all about will. It's all about casting your will upon a situation that is adverse for a client, or it is challenging for an advertiser when I was in the advertising business. And sometimes you have to exert that will to get your point across and to allow excellence to come through. In my case, that's what it meant to me.
There you go. Very, very interesting. I was not aware of the movie, but I found the research very, very interesting about the origins of the title, especially. Yes. Thank you all. Go ahead,
Watch it,
Tom.
you won't be disappointed.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. The network TV shows are all on season end hiatus right now, and I'm stretching. I like my favorite TV shows, just in case you're all interested, which you don't know me very well, but they are French police detective procedurals where there's a strong female lead character. Shows like Alice Nevers, she's an investigating judge, which we would call a police detective. There's Candice Renoir, where she's a mom of four who came back to the police force, and she has a way of solving crimes that nobody has ever seen before. She can say, I smell something there. Yes, she had the perfume on, and we know that that was at the crime scene. And she'll notice things that men won't notice, that kind of thing. So those are my main. But even those, we usually get those, Tom. Those shows come to us from European TV between 3 and 8 years after they were produced. So you look up the actors today to see what they look like in the present time. It's like, oh, that was 10 years ago. That's what she looked like. Anyway, I'm always looking people. Thank you very much for the referral. Thank you all for the quotes. I appreciate it. Let's now go. We're doing very well on time here. I'm going to pick one or two of your creativity statements from each of you. Dwayne, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to combine two from you, Dwayne. And we're going to do this a little bit differently. I will read them and ask you to unpack them, as they say on the news shows, or expand or expound on them. That's fine. Take a couple minutes. And then if Tom and or Eileen have anything to add, if this resonates with you, or you agree or you don't agree, it's going to be a real roundtable now. I think you all have 10 fingers. I haven't counted. I respond. I want you to wiggle one of your fingers, but I don't respond to the middle finger. Okay. It's not that kind of show. Tom was asking me if he could use the word CRAP. Yes. And you haven't yet, as far as I know. So we're still waiting for your profanity. Very measured and very polite. No secrets here. I'm sorry, Tom. I got to get you to smile. There's that smile. So wiggle a finger and I will see you if you want to make
Picked on.
No, you're getting glorified, not picked on. Okay, you're getting appreciated. There you go. Big difference. Okay, so Dwayne said the following. Dwayne, I'm going to combine statement 2 and 3. You say, all of my stories, almost all of my stories, have grown out of an incident, a person, or a situation that I've encountered in my daily life. I invent as little as possible. Let's leave that one on the table for now. And then in number 3, you say, my stories are all mysteries, as are all stories. There has to be some mystery to keep readers interested, whether it's a mystery about the plot, Eileen's nodding, or about the character. The more I work, the more I realize all people are mysterious. They have their secrets and their hidden doorways. Okay, that's a lot to chew on there. Okay, Dwayne, tell us a little bit about what this all means to you. I'm very intrigued. Go ahead.
Well, I'll start with the mystery side of things, because writing to me is a bit of a mystery from start to finish, and I never really know when I've written something good what happened that made it good, and I never know when I've written something that's awful what happened that made it awful as well. I mean, I can break it down into characterization or plot or whatever, but really it's the combination that makes a story work or makes it not work. I'm a bit of a seat of a pantser as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
So I start with two characters who are usually at loggerheads with one another. I start to write, and I just want to see where it will go. Often I don't know how a story will end until I'm about halfway through. And sometimes until I'm at the third draft of the story, I don't know how it will end. I find, working with, with people, with characters from real life, and that gets back into the first statement. Those characters are often, they often have sides to them that you don't realize when you first encounter them. And actually, the best characters do that. It's, what is the song? There's a song about the taxi driver that's taking you to the airport happens to have a PhD. That kind of secret that happens that gets told to you in the course of the story. I find that really quite interesting when I'm working on pieces. So yeah, I mean, the stories in this latest book that I've written called Theories of Everything is several of them are about people that I know. There's a story called The Sewing Machine, which is a bit of an outlier in the rest of the book because it's set in 1936. Most of the stories in the book are set in the present time. But it's a story about my grandmother, about my own grandmother. And it was told to me by my mother. She was a farmer in 1936, and the repo man came to repossess her sewing machine, which was her prized possession. Yeah, she bought it from the local store and then couldn't pay the bill. And according to my mother, who was there at the time and who is still alive, by the way, my 92-year-old mother, my grandmother sat on the sewing machine with her arms folded. She was quite a formidable woman, and she told the repo man that if he was going to take the machine, he'd have to be a better man than she was. And he left without her sewing machine.
Tom, she probably did it without profanity. I'm just going to say that there.
Well, I'm not guarantee that.
Tom wants to say something. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I just wanted to say to Dwayne that I really admire writers of fiction because I write nonfiction and I consider myself to be more of a reporter than a writer or an author because it's not my imagination. The quotes that are in my book, the observations that I've made come from real people. And I may have taken some journalistic license in how I interpret those in a specific situation, but I have a tremendous amount of admiration for people with an imagination that can take nothing, just an idea, and create something from it, because that is not in my wheelhouse. I could not be a fiction writer.
Interesting. Dwayne, anything you want to say back?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I have the same sort of respect for nonfiction writers because, I don't know how to do that nearly as well. And I think I do pretty much the same thing that Tom does, in that I usually sit at my desk for 3 hours every morning, and I just try to watch in the newsreel of my own imagination how this character is likely to behave, and I report on that. Is basically what I do.
Newsreel of my own imagination. That's a quotable comment. Eileen, go ahead.
Well, I think, Dwayne, that you are tapping into your inner fox because you are uncovering those things that within the person, their values and what they love, and you're slowly allowing the reader to find out what those little gems are, which makes people very interesting. So I love the mystery part of that.
Thank you. I want to add my piece here. about 8 years ago, I decided I want to write a romantic comedy play, and I was working a full-time job. And I remember when I was doing marketing director or computer programmer or something. I've had 7 careers. I'm like on my 12th now. And I went online one night and I downloaded Playwriting 101, and it told me what font to use and how to space the leading between the lines, and how to set up the scene, and to define the characters, and when the curtain goes up and the curtain goes down. And I copied it into a Word document, and the next night I started writing. I wrote for 3 nights from 1 till 4 in the morning. At the end of the third night, I had written what was turned out to be about a half-hour romantic comedy with 3 characters. And then I said to myself, what the hell am I going to do with it? Well, I had my own TV show called Something to Talk About on Long Island Cable, and I knew people who were in community theater. So I contacted them and I said, you want to act out my play? I'll direct it, I'll produce it, I'll coach you and everything. And a bunch of people said, yeah, as long as we don't have to work too hard, because we're already in a bunch of plays on Long Island. I said, here's what we'll do. We'll put up a monitor in front of each of you on the set in the studio, so you can glance at the lines without having to memorize them. Of course, you'll know. I did the rehearsals. I changed a little bit of the script. And what we did was, it was 2 people meeting, Dwayne, on a dating site, and their identification was they had to have like a Groucho Marx nose and glasses, and they were meeting for the first time at rush hour in front of Penn Station in New York, and their identifiers were numbers. Are you 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 6Y? Yeah, this is AK 3792. And I imagine, but what I'm trying to tell you is that they spoke to me. I didn't make stuff up. The characters just said to me, you're a channel. Just keep typing this stuff. It's just coming. It just flowed. I didn't have to, oh, what did she say next? I knew what they were wearing. I knew what they were saying. I knew the dialogue. I knew the pace and everything. We ended up doing 2 versions. We filmed it in an empty studio with a green curtain behind. And we did my director, George, went to the city, loved New York City, and he took a picture of people at Penn Station at rush hour. And then he took he took video of the noises of cabs and buses and cars in Manhattan at rush hour. And I downloaded a picture of a van that was a cab with the door open and the door closed. And I bought a little plastic steering wheel for the cab driver, and we put it on a table. They were sitting on chairs in an empty studio with a green curtain behind them. And we put the whole thing together with green screen. And it looked like they were at Penn Station in a crowd meeting each other. And then the next thing, they were sitting in the cab. And then the door was closed and the driver was driving. We put the whole thing together, and then we had to edit it down to 27 minutes because my TV show was a half hour and they needed a PSA and they needed in. My mother, who was 98 at the time, was a pianist, and she wrote the intro music. She wrote a little ditty that was about 45 seconds, and I recorded it on my phone and we rolled it in under the credits at the beginning. So it was, and we did 2 versions of it with a slight twist at the end because I had 2 other actors who wanted to do the play. So I wanted to share that with you, Dwayne. It was obviously based on things I was thinking about, my experiences with dating and with dating sites and with how people interact and what New York looked like and what might happen. It had a bittersweet ending, but it was very, very sweet. So that's
so beautiful when something like that happens. You know, I spent 30 years in the theater, and I still cannot write a play. I mean, I'm terrible at writing plays.
I did 3 of them.
Prose.
I'm going to send you all the links to my Vimeo channel. I have all the plays there, and they're all produced in 27-minute sound bites. So, okay, so let's go on. Thank you very much. I just had to share that. Eileen, I'm commenting. I'm going to take your statement 4. You sent me 5, 4 and 5, and take about 3 minutes, and let's see what the gentlemen have to say. Eileen says, taking classes, conversations at restaurants, visiting new places, meeting new people, and having new experiences all inspire new ideas for me and living life creatively and joyfully. That's number 1. And then she says, music sparks my creativity along with nature. We know the foxes and beautiful settings. Music has an almost magical ability to energize me, make me feel alive, and soothe my soul. A musical event inspired me to use an accordion to help people decide how much music they want to have in their lives. That's an interesting one. Eileen, why don't you work on that last one? We'd love to know about accordion. Talk to us. Go ahead.
Well, one time I went up to New York, upstate New York, and there was a concert there by Rhonda Larson. She was giving a concert. She was a flutist. She's very, very skilled. but the ambiance of the place, it was in a monastery, there was candles lit, it was towards the evening and it was snowing and it was just so beautiful. I mean, my soul was just like, oh, I just love being here. And I felt like, gosh, if my life could be like this every day. And I said, oh, I'll add music and then I'll add yoga and then I'll add pottery. And I began to add all these things, thinking, oh, I'll have music in my life. And I did, but then it got to be a little bit too much. But I began to think about that. And so it stimulated me to kind of think, how could I have a life like that? But not be so overwhelming. And then I saw an accordion and I use this and I use it with clients, but it's a little accordion and you can expand your life as much as you want and make music.
It's a metaphor.
And then it's a metaphor. And then, when you need time to rest, you compress and you bring down your activities. And so personally for me, I keep this on my desk as a reminder because I have a tendency to like really expand my life and really get out there and but I need to calm it down because I have so many interests, and that's one thing, like I said, about creative people. We have a lot of interests, and distill it down. And
That is a very creative way to a metaphor. What do you think, Dwayne and Tom? A creative way to express in a physical way how people can expand and contract. Tom, go, join, please.
I think that's right on because we live in this world right now that is always on. The phone is always by our side. The pings are always there. The interruptions are there. Life gets in the way. Noise is all around us. And at least for me, I find creativity happens for me when I'm in the stillness, when I'm in the quiet, when the imagination can wander a little bit, whether you're in nature or whether you're just sitting quietly in a morning with a cup of coffee. That's when creativity and ideas happen for me.
You just used the creativity statements I was going to bring up for you, but I have others from you. That's okay. And I'm glad you brought those up because a lot of people feel that way, Tom. It's that quiet time in nature or just early morning, or for me, it's late at night. I say when the world is quiet after midnight. I have a lot of guests who are all over Europe. So midnight for me is 7 in the morning. They're waking up and they're emailing. Okay. But it's finding that quiet time. Dwayne, anything you want to add to this before I move on?
Yeah, no, I loved Eileen's use of music, and it strikes me as being so evocative. My mother and I went to visit my elderly aunt in an old folks' home, and she was having trouble with her memory at the time. But my mother started singing to her all of these old songs, and suddenly she was singing back and we were having a great time. Memories started to come back. She started to recognize people again.
Yes.
It was just a wonderful thing. And I think that's, part of the power of music. I know when I'm sitting and writing, sometimes I put on music, usually classical music, because words do get in the way of me concentrating on
There's a
writing
song about
words.
that too. Yes. Music in TV shows, sometimes in introductions for these European shows, I watch, the music makes me cry because it's so emotional. And very often these French shows and Norwegian shows, and I watch Italian shows once, I keep you can't look away because I used to speak fluent French. I don't anymore. I love to hear them pronounce it. I don't use the dubbed. I hate the dubbed shows, but I leave the subtitles on. So I have to watch. If you're going to do something, you got to put it on pause. But sometimes the music, the theme music, has English words, an English speaking singer. And some of them are so emotional that I have to skip forward on the intro because it makes me cry, because it makes me think about things from my past or somebody I miss. Music, the power of music. Unbelievable. Thank you. I want to move on. I'm looking at the clock here. Tom, let's see what you used. This one you didn't use. You said I'm most creative in the pre-dawn, the quiet, right after I have first cup of coffee. Okay. Then you say my best creativity happens when I'm really bored. Okay, Tom, that's the nugget. Spend about 2 minutes and then we have other stuff to do. What do you mean bored? You look like you're never bored. Go ahead.
I think that's one of the things that Eileen basically said too. It's when you're in the stillness, when you're in the quiet. when there isn't activity around you, when you're not being pulled in different directions, whether it's your digital device or life in general. I find that, and that's just the way I need to be to create well, is to have the stillness and the quiet.
When you say you're bored, though, what does that mean? You mean you're walking around saying, what am I doing here? What's my life
Not,
all about? I
not that
mean,
I'm aimless, but
no, I know.
it's just that it is something where I say, somebody would look to me and say, "You're not doing anything. You must be bored. You don't
Oh,
have and I'm not, but it looks that way. So
interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. When I'm bored, I create a concept for a new live streaming radio show.
there you go.
And
Absolutely.
and I start getting guests for it and I start booking time for it. And that's how I fight the boredom. It's either watching interesting TV and I'm an artist and I went into my art studio and I painted something just before the show today. Haven't been out there. It's not a heated room, but I have a heater for the winter and I wasn't in the mood today. I went and did something
Yeah.
interesting, just a small 12 by 12
Well,
canvas. But
you said it yourself. You were bored.
I was bored.
You know.
I was
Yeah.
bored. It was a quiet day and I was bored. Yes, I was.
And that's
So
where I come up with a concept for a new book, is when I'm bored and say, I wonder if this could work. I
I
wonder if
love
a
it.
reworking of this could work.
I
So,
want to read you all a poem. Thank you. A poem I wrote in July 24. I belong to a poetry group at Writer's Digest on online. And during the months of April and November, we get a prompt every single day from the moderator, Robert Lee Brewer. And I write between 3 and 5 poems a day for the entire month of April and November. I've been doing this for 2.5 years. And it's stimulating. It's wonderful. And I found out you don't have to do it at 6:30 in the morning. People from all over the world are on this site and it's free. I find out I can do it at noon or I can do it at 1 or in between shows, whatever it is. And my favorite forms are, I call them Out on a Limerick, Disappearing Nines, which is 9 syllables on the first line down to 8765432 Tricube, which is 3 syllables, 3 lines each times 3 stanzas, so it's 27 syllables. It's hard to be disciplined. And acrostics, I love the acrostic. So I did this acrostic, and I'm not going to show it to you, but I'd like to read it because I think you'll all appreciate it. So it's night shift, Night Shift, and you can imagine I'll emphasize the words as I do it. Never quite really at rest. It's the life of a creative. Going, gripping, gyrating, growling, groaning, growing. Highs and lows flowing on a mental Mobius strip. The days are the nights are the days again. Shifting off and on, into and out of gear. Hoping for unique brilliance even once. It's a calling, command, curse, roller coaster. Finding eureka, euphoria amid frustration, fears. Thus is the life of the creative. What do you think? Like it?
Lovely, lovely.
Thank you.
loved it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I put
It's a
that in my
roller
notes. I just have a lot of fun with that. Okay, let me do some quick. We have 4 minutes left. Let me do a couple of events here in music history. Anybody remember Annette Funicello from the Mickey Mouse Club and from the Beach Boys? Okay, in 1960, Annette Funicello performed at Radio City Music Hall in New York, and she missed her high school graduation. The same day, the Drifters recorded "Save the Last Dance for Me." Okay, in 1962, on this day, 3 months before her death, Marilyn Monroe sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" at JFK's 45th birthday anniversary celebration. There you go. On this day in 72, Elton John released Honky Chateau, which included Rocket Man, his first #1 album in the U.S. 6 consecutive chart toppers. There you go. On this day in 73, Stevie Wonder's "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" hit #1, inspired by his wife, Sarita Wright. Let's see now. Madonna's hit in 1990, Vogue. Remember? Strike a Pose, Vogue. It was a popular nightclub song for gay nightclubs. For fashion models, it hit #1. In, let's see, in this day in 1998, Sonny and Cher, he was already passed away on January 5th. So this day in May, they got their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. On this day in 2000, Peter, Paul, and Mary celebrated 40 years together with a tour starting in Las Vegas. And on this day in 2009, the first episode of the TV series Glee, featuring a performance of Journey's "Don't Stop Believin'," I killed the song, sorry, which landed on the charts at #4. It was higher, their version, than Journey's original. Today is the anniversary of the birth of Peter Mayhew, an actor who passed away in 2019. Anybody remember him? He played Chewbacca, the sidekick to Harrison Ford's Han Solo in the original Star Wars trilogy. Happy birthday, Peter Mayhew. Yes, it's Grace Jones's birthday today, the actress, model, and singer. It's Sam Smith's birthday, the English pop star artist. And I have three it's Frog Jumping Jubilee Day. If anybody knows any frogs, you can go tell them to jump. It's National Barber Mental Health Awareness Day. I have no idea why. It's Devil's Food Cake Day. Sign me up. It's Plant Something Day. I've got a lot of plants. And National Vegetarian Week. Today is the birthday of JoJo Siwa, Siwa. If you've never heard of her, she's 22 today. Why are we celebrating? Dwayne is asking me because she has 12 million subscribers on YouTube and 3 billion views. Singer, dancer, actress, social media sensation, comedy sketches, vlogs, Q&As, and fun videos. Don't even ask. It's Big Dawes TV, his birthday, 32 today. He has 10 million subscribers. He's a prankster on YouTube. TikTok, we have somebody named Josh Allen who's 20 today. He only has 2.5 million subscribers, and he videos himself eating food and making smoothies. Sorry, Dwayne, I can't believe it. And on Instagram, we have Lindsay Pellis. She's 34. She has 8 million followers. She's a model and a fitness enthusiast who used to be a Playboy model. I wonder why she's so popular. Okay, May is the month of American cheese, gifts from the garden, lettuce, asparagus, barbecue. I have 1 minute left. Chocolate custard, sign me up. Egg month, hamburger, salad, salsa, and strawberries. And it's the month of creative beginnings, and we're going to leave it at that. Don't go away, and we're going to stop. Let me see. Jordan, how much time do we have left? 1 minute. Here we go. In 2014, and guests, stick around, we'll talk after. 2014, I closed my show with the top 10 tips for women. Eileen, listen up. The number one tip, this is 11 years ago, was aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. Okay, here's my final closing. Life is short. Break the rules. Forgive quickly. Never. Kiss slowly. Always. Love truly. Laugh uncontrollably. Everybody laugh with me. 1, 2, 3. Force yourself. And never forget anything that made you smile. Final words. Work like you don't need the money. Dance like no one's watching. When I taught disco in high heels in a high school cafeteria on top of a Formica tabletop, I didn't fall and everybody watched. Sing like nobody's listening. Love like you've never been hurt. We all have. Makes for good stories, right, Dwayne? Money talks. Chocolate sings. La! And last but not least, thank you for turning me on. I stole that line from somebody else. Let me put the music on. We're going to go out with a bang here. And here we go. Final.
On Read My Lips Radio, producer and host, akaRadioRed, invites you to eavesdrop on her live, unscripted conversations with smart, savvy, creative people as she discovers what makes them tick, where they find their inspiration, when creativity first became their passion, and how their creative process can inspire the rest of us to think out of the box. Enjoy akaRadioRed's always lively, cool conversations with creatives. Oh, how those lips can talk.
There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, that's enough out of you. Let me close. Wave goodbye to social. We're going to stop the